Hey guys, so today's topic is the question of values in bioethics, one of the foundational ideas of bioethics, one of the most important things we consider when we're trying to make a decision about what we should or shouldn't do. The notes on this page are going to be one of the most important pages of notes you have. I would put these in a folder. I'd make a copy of this in a Google folder that you title bioethics, and then give this the title of values in bioethics, because you're going to want to be able to go back to this page frequently and not have to click through it in Schoology. You're going to use this all throughout the course at different times. So let's go through the main ideas here. Um, First, we start off with the definition of what values are. Now, some of you have these in your notes from before break, but you don't have your notes with you. So this is your reference sheet for this. So values are standards for what's important or worthwhile in life, and they are the basis of what we decide ethically or morally, what we believe is right and what we think we should do. And the values underlie that. So depending upon what you value, you might believe different things are right or wrong. And a lot of times the reasons people disagree is because fundamentally their values are different, right? One person is valuing success and the other person is valuing family. One person, right? And so when their values conflict, that's when we really come into conflict with each other, or conflict in terms of deciding what's the right thing to do. So one of the skills you're going to be using in this course related to values is the ability to identify a value and know how we're using values. So let's talk about some of the most common values in bioethics. The most common values are this. The most common ones that we use. You might have, from the last activity you did, identified values in yourself that don't show up here. But when we're making decisions for other people, we have to we usually end up kind of using the same basic values, and it's sort of this either or back and forth whenever resources are limited. So if not everybody has access to everything they want, what is the most important thing to value? So here are some of the options. You can value long life. Okay. The length of time a person can use. We can value the quality of that life. So just because life is longer doesn't mean that it's a good quality life. So sometimes people value having a good life over having it be a long life, if that makes sense. They would rather maybe live or participate in some activity for a shorter period of time, and have that be good quality time rather than for a longer period of time, but with less quality. And a lot of times that comes into decision making when we think of people who are sick and can't get the resources they need. We can value people because of the services that they can provide. Valuing somebody in terms of what they can do for others. This is sort of a transactional way of looking at it. Like if a person can do something good for their society or their community, we would value them more. Uh, which sounds obvious, but that actually it doesn't always work that way. So we often don't want to value people just because of what services they could provide, because not everybody's been fully realized yet, right? Like if we valued my 10-year-old daughter for the services she can provide, she would have very little value, because right now she's unfulfilled. She hasn't developed yet in terms of what she can do for society. We can value equality or equity, and you should read these definitions carefully. They're not the same thing, and sometimes we want to value equality. Everybody gets the same thing, has access to the exact same resources, and sometimes we want to value equity. So based on what the person already has, we might deliver resources in a different way. A lot of times this comes down in conversations about race or class or power, but it can show up in other ways too. We'll get into these when the situations arise. But essentially, when everybody gets the exact same thing, that's usually equality. If everybody gets what they need, then that's equity. So equality is not concerned with the end goal. It's concerned with what everybody gets. Equity is concerned with everybody having the same access to the end goal. Two other common values are the values of reducing suffering. So decreasing the amount of pain or discomfort that a person might have. And then autonomy, a super important one in the field of bioethics, which is valuing personal freedom and the right to make your decisions about your body and about what happens in your life, which often comes in direct conflict with some of the other ones, right? You might value your autonomy to decide you want something done for yourself, and the rest of the society might say no. There are other people with a better or more valid reason to have these resources. So that's the questions of that's the considerations of values in bioethics. And with that, we'll move on to some activities and just try using it.